subscribe for more.
I never thought I'd be the person standing there, frozen, while my own life seemed to crumble in front of me. My name is Grayson, I'm 39, and I thought I knew love. I thought I knew commitment. But nothing prepares you for the moment when the person you trust most becomes a stranger in the span of seconds. I had been dating Alara for 4 years. She was brilliant, full of laughter, the kind of person who lit up a room without even trying. I was quieter, analytical, the type who measured risks and calculated outcomes. Yet, she said she liked that about me, said she could always count on me. For a while, it felt true. We balanced each other perfectly, her energy complementing my steadiness. We traveled, explored cities, texted little jokes during the day, made plans for weekends that seemed to stretch endlessly ahead of us. Life felt like it was ours to shape. Then, over the past year, I noticed the subtle changes. The smiles grew shorter. The texts took longer to arrive. Our weekend plans started fading into last-minute cancellations. I brushed it off at first, blaming her work, her late nights at the marketing firm, her growing list of friends and social events. I told myself I was supportive. I reminded myself that relationships aren't always fireworks. I cooked dinner, ran errands, even offered to drive her to late meetings. Every small gesture, I hoped, would remind her that she mattered. But each time, the warmth I gave was returned with cold indifference. It was a Thursday evening when I got home from a long day at the office. I had been thinking about her all day, imagining a quiet night together, talking about plans for the weekend. Instead, the house was silent, a stillness that immediately set my gut on edge. I heard laughter from the living room, not hers, or at least not mine. I approached slowly, trying to convince myself it was nothing, just a friend over, nothing that mattered. And then I saw them. Alara, leaning close to a man I'd never seen before, laughing in a way that wasn't reserved for me. My chest tightened, my mind raced. Every ounce of trust I'd built in 4 years felt like it had been stripped away in an instant. I froze. Not out of anger, not yet. Just shock. It was the kind of shock that robs you of breath, that freezes your muscles while your brain screams what you already know. My first instinct was to retreat, to walk away quietly, to pretend I hadn't seen anything. But then I noticed something subtle, something unexpected. He looked at me, and instead of the confrontation I imagined, the shame I expected from her, he didn't flinch. He didn't turn away. And Alara, the woman I had trusted with my heart, didn't apologize, didn't stammer, didn't even seem surprised. I stepped into the room, my voice calm, deliberate, not trembling, not accusing. Alara, I said, just that one word, carrying the weight of every moment I had invested in us. Her smile faltered slightly, but she didn't move away. And then it hit me, the clarity of everything that had been wrong for months. The late nights, the canceled plans, the absence of warmth. It wasn't just this man. It was the culmination of a disconnect I had ignored, hoping it would fix itself, hoping she would remember what we had. But she hadn't, and the moment crystallized that truth. I looked at him once, measuring calm. And I realized something else entirely. Anger wasn't what I needed. Revenge wasn't the goal. What I needed was closure, dignity, and clarity. I had given her years of my life, my trust, my loyalty. I wasn't going to allow this betrayal to consume me. I took a deep breath and said nothing more to him. Not a word. My focus was on her. I stepped closer, and she finally met my gaze, expecting perhaps an outburst, a scream, tears, anything. But I was silent. Only calm. Only clarity. I need you to understand something, I said evenly. I saw what was happening. I know what I've been missing for months, and I'm done hoping that it will change. Her expression shifted slightly, maybe confusion, maybe irritation. I couldn't tell. I continued. I've tried to give you everything. My time, my support, my presence. And you chose someone else. That's your choice. But this is mine too. Without another word, I turned and walked out. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't make her feel what I felt. I simply walked, letting each step mark the end of a chapter that had already died quietly over time. I got into my car, my hands still steady, my mind clear. It wasn't revenge that drove me. It was self-respect, the kind that builds in silence, in the moments when you recognize your worth more than being ignored, unseen, replaced. Over the next few hours, I let the adrenaline settle. I called my best friend, Callum, not to vent, but to simply acknowledge the truth. "I'm done," I said. He understood immediately. No questions, no judgment, only support. That night, I didn't stew in heartbreak. I didn't craft a plan. I slept, finally, knowing that I had not lost myself even as I lost her. Days later, I received a message from her. Something awkward, hesitant. Something like, "Can we talk?" I read it and did nothing. No reply, no acknowledgement. Because the clarity I had felt in the first moments after leaving her hadn't wavered. What she had done didn't just shock me. It awakened a truth I had been avoiding. That love, respect, and loyalty cannot be demanded. They must be recognized, reciprocated, or else they are meaningless. And so, I moved forward, quietly, calmly, with dignity intact. I didn't hate her. I didn't curse her name. I simply understood, accepted, and let go. I focused on myself, my own life, my own growth. For the first time in months, I felt light, unburdened, awake. Every memory of betrayal became a lesson in self-respect. Every pang of hurt became a reminder that I would not compromise my value for anyone who refused to honor it. Weeks later, I ran into her briefly at a mutual friends gathering. She looked surprised, maybe even a little guilty. But I didn't pause, didn't linger, didn't explain. I nodded, smiled faintly, and walked away. The man who had shared her laughter for a fleeting moment was no longer part of my story, nor was she. I realized then, finally, that the shock of that moment had not broken me. It had freed me. Freed me from illusions, from hope misplaced, from the quiet erosion of my dignity. And now, reflecting on it all, I understand the lesson clearly. Some shocks are not punishments. They are awakenings. I didn't lose love that night. I found clarity. I didn't fail as a partner. I succeeded as a man who recognized his worth and refused to settle for less. That moment, standing there with her and him, will always be vivid in my memory. But it no longer haunts me. It reminds me that self-respect is never negotiable, and that the calm, measured choices we make after betrayal define us far more than the betrayal itself ever could. I never expected her to change. I never expected reconciliation. I never even hoped. What I did expect, what I demanded for myself, was this: clarity, dignity, and freedom. And I got it.